Welcome everybody to the Mind, Body, and Soul TV show, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. I'm your host, Coach Steve Toth, and also the founder of Conscious Evolution Media. We have a fantastic guest with us this evening. Her name is Christy Whitman, and she is the coach's coach and many other things. And she's joining us from that city where the lights never go out, and that would be Las Vegas. Is that where you're at?
I'm actually in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Well, I took a wild guess. Whatever. Okay, I don't know what's in Arizona. Well, you know, what's in Arizona? Cactus. Cactuses. Okay. All right, cool. And our the theme of the show this evening is an awesome one, like every one of them. How to set yourself up for quantum success. And I just want everybody to know that the show is being streamed on YouTube Live, as well as Hangouts and at consciousevolutionmedia.com. And we have by now done more than 15,000 shows, and we have we are no longer counting, because at this point it doesn't matter anymore. It's not about how many shows we are doing, but how incredible the content is becoming. So to that end, I would like to know from Christy, if I take away all of your titles that anybody has ever called you in your life, if I had that power, which I don't, but if I took them away, what's left? Who is really Christy Whitman?
No, don't take them away. No, I'm kidding.
just for 2 seconds.
I worked so hard for them. No, I'm kidding. My worst nightmare. No, you know, at the core of who I am, I really believe that my purpose here is to add light. I consider myself a light worker. So wanting to just add more love and light in my life and to those around me and to students that I have, and just to the universe in general. I'm here to add light. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love that answer. So I'm really curious about how are we going to help people in the show to set themselves up for quantum success? Because everybody wants success, but quantum success. Tell us about quantum success.
That's big success. No.
We want it. We want it, and we want it now.
When I say quantum success, my whole branding is around quantum success. I have the Quantum Success Coaching Academy. I have my weekly show, the Quantum Success Show. Everything I do is quantum success, because, you know, we can take a step-by-step approach to success. But what I'm looking to help people do is really tap into the universal laws and really plug into their non-physical counterpart, and really tap into how the universe works. And when they do that, the success that they can create is exponential. It's not a like step-by-step, you know, increment by increment level of success. It's amazing when you can tap into who you really are, connect with, you know, truly the pure potentiality that exists in the universe, and knowing that we are part of that, and that we are abundant, and we're from an abundant universe, that it's like a channel. It's almost like the difference between getting in a car, a fast-moving car, and then putting nitrous oxide in the car and pushing that button so it goes even faster. So when I talk about quantum success, it's really working with quantum physics and quantum principles and universal principles to help us decide what we want to create, and then move there at a faster pace that actually is more fun, more expansive, and really more rewarding on so many other levels.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious about is that I feel that we as human beings are so trained to translate this world with our 5 senses, that what you're talking about is quite a challenge. How do you find that to be true or not true?
Well, you know, one thing I do know to be true is that most of us are not taught how to work in this way. We're usually taught and trained that if we want some level of success, that level of success is defined by what's out there. So a big car, you know, a nice car, or a big house, or having the husband and the kids or the wife, you know, have whatever that image of success is, having the amount of money in the bank, you know, whatever that is for us. And that if we want to feel successful, we have to go get the promotion. We have to go make more money. We have to go start our own businesses, and, you know, whatever it is, we have to do all these things that are outside of ourselves to go get the success, and then we're going to feel. And we actually have it reversed, because when you work with the quantum field, when you really start to work with quantum success and not just success, you actually become aware that you are an energetic being, which we all are. Everything's energy in this universe. And that when you're an energetic being, which we all are, and you're aware of it, we give off a certain frequency and vibration by everything that we do. We're just literally energy towers. We're energy emitters all the time. And when we can tap into, when we can cultivate and generate that feeling of success within ourselves, it's amazing. It's an inside out approach instead of an outside in approach. So the feeling of being already successful without anything out in our outer reality having to shift or change, we start to draw things to us, things that are opportunities, situations, people that will help us get to that next step. We obviously have to take action in this physical universe that we live in, but it's the right people at the right time with the right opportunity. And we take those steps, and then things start to open and expand. And it's that feeling of success that draws more success to us, not us trying to go outside of ourselves to go get these things in order for us to feel successful. So it's just a total paradigm shift from outside in to inside out.
Yeah, got it. So the way I kind of describe the same thing, because it's kind of interesting. I'm having this dialogue with you and with a lot of people that are coming onto the network. I'm proving to the public, because we are Conscious Evolution Media, that I already am aware of what you're going to be sharing. And you are already aware of that. I know that you're aware of it. and the way that works is the way you showed up here is based on, we're proving that it's the laws of attraction. The reason and way I am here is because I attracted you. And this is how it works in real life. People don't come to this network whom do not vibrate at the frequencies that I vibrate at, or the network is vibrating at. Correct?
Correct. And you and I, and you and I have already had this discussion at a non-physical level. The non-physical counterpart that is you, and the non-physical counterpart that is me, have already created, all that manifestation has been done to get our physical bodies in this place to actually then have the physical conversation.
And there is already trust. And I'm already feeling it, because how I know, and I share this on the network all the time, because I have goosebumps already. Okay, so I know that I'm connected to the energy, and that I'm open and I'm receptive to whatever is going to unfold on this show. So I am also testing this whole theory of yours, which is mine as well, in a corporate environment. And it's very, very interesting because I'm not there. I decided not to be there as a coach, because I'm finding that, or I have found in my history, in my life, that when somebody comes in as a coach or as a consultant, people put up even more walls and more resistance. Okay, so I just became one of the sheeps.
One of the what?
One of the sheeps. And they don't know me any differently than they know themselves. And what I'm testing is this whole theory of yours, is how energy works, and I'm being the example of what does it like to be, and the closest connection I found, and I really would like your feedback on this, is that I somehow, I can't say I stumbled on this. It's probably not true. It was shown to me that I can remember on my one hand how many times I fell in love in my life. And I now, because of all the work that I have done, not that I am done, we're never done.
Right, for sure.
But I now can generate myself that I'm in love. I'm in love with me, and I'm in love with the world. And so my understanding of what you were talking about is, I don't have these plans right now that if I get the car, if I get the house, if I get the picket fence, if I get the beautiful wife, if I get all these things that I want or have ever wanted in my life, then and only then will I be happy and joyful. I already am so.
Yes.
Without any of those things.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about, correct?
Yes, and it doesn't mean going without. It doesn't mean that because
no, it doesn't mean that at all. No,
right.
actually magic happens because the universe is already, like you said, is lined up to bring me everything that I ever wanted. I just been putting roadblocks up. The only reason I haven't gotten what I wanted is because for the same reason everybody else does it. It's so funny to me. Talk about this with the viewers for me, is that everybody knows, I feel very strongly, what it is that they want, but they go in the opposite direction. Why is that?
Well, the big thing, and this is one of the biggest things I teach, is that most of us have been trained in a mindset of lack and scarcity. And most of us have been trained by parents and media and, teachers and, and this is, of course, a generalization, but basically raised in an environment where we focus on what we don't want rather than what we do want. And so we're used to saying, well, I don't want to gain weight. Well, I don't want to be late. I don't want to lose my keys again. Well, I don't want to lose him. I don't want to get in debt. We're so focused on the don't want, and that just takes us down a road of lack and limitation, because whenever, the universe doesn't necessarily listen to our words, it listens to our vibration. And whenever we're saying don't, not, or no, we're focused on the direction that we don't want, which is usually in lack.
It's a request. It's just a request, just like any other.
Yeah, but the way you're in lack is it doesn't feel good. And the way you're in abundance is it does feel good. So when we're focused on what we do want and what we do want to experience and what we do want to become and, what we do want in the bank, what we do want in a partner, what we do want our bodies to look and feel like, we're focused on what we do want, then we're in a place of alignment with abundance. And we feel good. It feels good to talk about the things like, the vacations and the, having the amount of money in the bank or the kind of success that we picture in our minds, having the connection with a loved one or a good friend. All of those things come from a place of a higher vibration, which is abundance. And so we're naturally trained to focus on what we don't want. And we're naturally trained to focus on lack and limitation, because that's how most of us were. There's only so much success to go around. It's like everybody thinks there's a big pie, and we all either got to fight for our shares. That's like one of two things. We either fight for our shares, we become super hyper competitive, trying to get the other one out, or it's like, oh, I don't want to take what's not mine. So we just kind of repress ourselves and shrink because we don't want to take what other people have. We all have our own pies. There's no limitation in this universe. And when we can get that, it's like we can then, we have a permission to shine and to create and to just, live into our potentiality, because what I'm doing as far as when I'm shining in the world, it's not taking from anybody else's. And it gives me permission to go for what I want and not for what I don't want, because now I'm in a space of abundance and not lack.
Okay. So that's, of course, absolutely right on. But how would people know? How would they notice themselves that when they're disconnected or when they go in the opposite direction? How can they teach themselves to notice it? Because I feel that if they don't notice it, they're on automatic pilot.
Well, that's it. They have to, and that's one of the things we're at your question, how are we trained? We're trained to shut down our emotions. We're trained to just mask how we feel. We're so good at, not feeling our feelings. And our feelings truly are our guides. If you feel bad in any way, if you're bored, if you're angry, if you're resentful, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling betrayed, any of those lower level emotions are coming from a place in fear, doubt. All those are coming from a place of lack. It does not feel good. But if you're in alignment, meaning like you're that space of abundance and you're in a space of love or appreciation or feeling gratitude or feeling excitement or feeling passion or just aligned or connected or passion, you're in a space of feeling good and you're in abundance. But the problem is most of us numb out. We've cut ourselves off from ourselves We've cut ourselves off from our emotions. We smoke, we drink, we shop, we gamble, you know, we overspend, we do all these things. We work to, you know, to the point where it's like we're running so fast that we're running away from ourselves, cutting ourselves off from ourselves. And when we're doing that, we're cutting ourselves off from knowing our energetic body and the vibration that we're giving out. So if you don't know that you're in a crappy mood, nobody, you know, it's probably obvious to everybody around you because you're frowning. But if you don't feel that in yourself and you're able to connect with yourself and go, and how am I feeling right now? I'm in a crappy ass mood, if I can say that. You know, I'm in a really crappy mood. I'm feeling angry right now. You know, to be able to identify how we're feeling, there's always thoughts that generate those feelings. And so it's important to kind of work back, you know, work with the end in mind. I'm feeling bad right now. Okay, what have I been thinking about? You know, where are those thoughts coming from? Well, I don't believe that I can create what I want. I don't believe that. I feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this marriage, or I'm stuck in this work that I hate, and I'm stuck. And so that belief that you're stuck comes from a place of lack. There's no other choices for you. But when you can shift into, you know what, I'm a free being. I've always got lots of choices. Let me start looking for the solution, knowing that I'm free and that I'm never stuck, that I have choices. I could either, you know, improve my marriage. I can you know, talk about going to therapy. I could leave my marriage. You know, there's so many choices. You're never stuck. I could look for a different job. I could start my own business. You know, there's all sorts of different options. But now we're focused in moving in the direction of what we do want and less of what staying stuck on the problem of what we don't want.
Got it. So in terms of what I'm noticing with people is that we keep recreating. It's almost like what's in the Matrix, the movie Matrix. We keep recreating every day almost the same way, with the exception of some minor minutiae here and there. But it's almost like the same movies running every day. You know, we get up and do what we do, and it's all about like a process. And then we go to work and we kind of do what we do, and it's always pretty much the same. We like the people we like, we don't like the people we don't like. So it's like a repetitious movie every day. And that's when I feel people, because there's nothing new being created. Matter of fact, I've noticed that people share the same jokes, people share the same stories. It's like, wait a minute. Is there something we can do to shut this automatic thing off?
Yes.
And what is that? What is that?
Because you know what? We are so accustomed to thinking that this is it. It's like that song, Que Sera, Sera, you know, it's like, this is it. We have to dream and know that we can actually create our life differently. We have the power. We're not victim of circumstance. And that's what's exciting, is that when you start applying and knowing the universal laws, you start becoming a deliberate creator. You get to go, no, I don't want to feel in lack all the time. So what am I thinking? What am I believing? What do I need to shift here so that I'm starting to feel like I'm more in abundance? What's my thought process so that I can shift into something that's more empowering for me? And then as you do, you start opening up your energy, which opens up your possibilities, which opens up your perspective, which allows you to see something, a totally different world that you live in from this. And when you do that, things start to change and shift, and new opportunities come to you, new loved people, you know, people to love and participate with, new opportunities, situations, circumstances, all of it. Everything shifts when our perspective shifts. And it's sad when you're saying that and describing it, people just living their lives like the same every day, and they're not happy and they're miserable. It saddens me, because it's like, wow, life is so
and they resign themselves to it.
Yeah.
They really do.
This is how it's supposed to be. You know, it's like, no.
This is how it is. And they don't even question it. It gets to a level where they don't even question it. It's just
they don't even know they're miserable.
It's almost like completely robotic.
Yeah. And life's supposed to be fun. I mean, each one of us has life force running through us. And I don't think any of us decided to take a body as this amazing, magnificent creator that we are and go, oh, I'm just going to go live a humdrum life. I don't think any of us wanted to consciously choose that before we took a body. And then here we get programmed with all these limitations and all this, you can't do this, you can't have that, you know, who are you to be this? And then we get there and it's like, okay, let me just kind of live a mediocre life. And it's like, life is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be joyful. We're all free beings. We have that opportunity to deliberately create what we want. We don't all want the same things. That's a beautiful thing about having so much diversity and having so much variety in the universe that we live in. But it's like, we get to decide for ourselves, what do I want to experience? And not just a general, what do I want to experience, but like in all aspects of your life. How do you, like I say, having it all? Like, what is having it all for you? I wrote the book, The Art of Having It All. And look at, not all of us define it the same way. And you need to look at all different aspects. What is having it all with your body? What is having it all financially? What is having it all to you in your career, in your primary relationship? Maybe having it all is not having a relationship at all. Maybe it's being a career woman, or staying at home and raising children. It's like, what does it look like in all aspects of your life? But how exciting to know that you have the power to create your life and recreate your life over and over and over again. There's nothing more freeing and exciting to have these principles, to know how to apply them, and know that you have the power to manifest what you want to experience and do and be and have.
So, yes, I hear that. So what I'm noticing for me is that the only thing that differentiates me from other people that I'm around, who are, per my own description, are living that life that we just talked about, is that I am being more intentional than they are. And what I mean by being more intentional is I am monitoring myself on a moment-to-moment basis, how I feel. And if I don't feel good, if I feel some negative emotion, I do something about it. And I go back and I realize that the only way to feel those negative emotions is that I'm disconnected. I am not connected to the positive potentiality that you're talking about, that who we all are. And nobody should be even questioning this, because when you see a baby being born, that is exactly what we're talking about. The beautiful 100% positive potentiality. That baby is amazing. Would you agree? Because you have two beautiful boys. I saw them on your website. And I'm going like, okay, so when these kids were born, oh my God, you probably felt the same way I felt when my kids were born. It's like perfection.
Yes.
No other way to explain it.
Yeah.
And we can get to that because we were that. We just forgot. We can get to that at any moment we want.
Yeah.
So are you a proponent of people just going out there, and because sometimes people like ask me, all right, so I understand what you're talking about, Bob. This is all intellectual stuff. For a lot of people, they just go, okay, I understand what you're talking about, but because here's the thing, most people, like especially in this country, it's all, I could say the United States is all a bunch of doers. They just want to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, okay, so slow down. It's really mostly about be. Not do, because the doing will come out of who you're being. And we're doing that one backwards as well.
Yes, absolutely. We're human beings, not human doing.
It's like we believe this stuff. The feedback I'm getting is we believe this stuff if we can touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever. If we can't scan it, it doesn't exist. Yes. Attitude. And what you and I are talking about, and what I've been talking about for the last 12 years actually on media, is that everybody knows this. This is not something that I know and nobody else knows. Everybody knows that what you and I are talking about right now does exist, and it is true. Matter of fact, I bet that everybody feels what we are talking about every day, at least once, if not more often. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But absolutely. They just go, oh, well, I don't know how I created that feeling, but I'm just going to go back to what I'm more comfortable with. And what's interesting to me is that, yes, people have choices, but what I'm noticing, and again, this is coming from the corporate environment, is that when people are used to what they do every day, there is a momentum that's going on.
Oh, yes.
And this momentum, I learned, I used to try to stop it, and I really got myself into all kinds of trouble. You can't just stop these momentums, because they've been doing these kind of things for almost their lifetime, and it's not something you can just go, okay, so stop. It doesn't work that way, right?
Well, it's kind of like when you're driving on the freeway and you realize that, oh my gosh, I'm going the wrong way, or I needed to go down that exit and I missed it. So you don't just stop in the middle of the freeway, right? You've got to actually turn your car around, go at a different exit, turn the car around, go back the other way. You have to create momentum going in a different way. And that's exactly what we're talking about. It's catching yourself when you're having those thoughts of, I'm stuck. I'm not free here. Like, I have no choices here. I'm not good enough. Who am I to? Oh, well, that doesn't work for me. Oh, she's a dreamer. That can't happen. All that limitation that we put on ourselves, you're going down the wrong road. And we need to stop and slow down, turn ourselves around, and go and create momentum in the other way. And the only way to do that is because everything is energy. And so the mindset that we have and the thoughts that we think and the beliefs that we hold, all of that is energy. When you can bring in deliberately a new energy, we can all do that because this is a holographic universe, meaning if anybody has ever felt a feeling ever in the history of feelings, which we've experienced all feelings because we have so many people on the planet that are having different life experiences, and we don't know how to cultivate it within ourselves, we can actually tap into and bring through that feeling. So if someone has never felt the feeling of being thin before, there's other people on the planet that have that feeling and know how to feel that. We can tap into that energy field. This is advanced stuff, but we can tap into that energy field and feel what it feels like to be thin. If someone's always been in credit card debt and they've come from a place of being poor most of their lives, they never knew what it meant to be like financially abundant or have more money than they knew what to do with, you can tap into that feeling of abundance. The feelings all exist, and nothing has to change in our outer reality in order for us to feel that feeling. And it's the feeling, it's the essence, it's the vibration that starts everything anyway. It's what pops the old energy and brings in the new energy, which then creates a different reality.
Right. Matter of fact, yeah, and I know this to be true, when we always say, well, I want money, but there's no money in my bank account. So when people go down that road, money is not coming.
Yeah, because here's one of the laws. It's the law of polarity. Like, every subject is really two subjects. So someone might think, well, I'm focused on bringing in more money. I know I want more money. I know that what I would do with the money, but it's not here yet. Well, the energy you're giving off is still lack. It's a lack of the money. And so we need to get to the other side of the pole and be excited about the money coming. Start to feel what it would feel like to have the type of money that you'd want in your bank account. Money is just green energy. And for me, I have found that it's the fastest, most reliable thing that responds to energy, because money doesn't have opinions. It doesn't have preconceptions. It doesn't have any meanings on its own. It doesn't go, ooh, I like Steve, I'm going to go to Steve. I don't like Christy, I'm not going to go to Christy. It doesn't have opinions. It's literally, it's energy that responds to us. So if we're the energy transmitters, if we're the ones that are giving off, and we give off our energy and the meanings that we have, money's for greedy people. Oh, people that have money are no good. That's a meaning we've given it. So that's going to repel money away from us. But if we're appreciative of money and all that it can bring in our lives and the lives of other people, and I like to say, start a love affair with money, not make money your God. I'm not saying that, but just start the appreciation for the feeling sense that actually money can bring into your life.
It brings me freedom and ease is what it does for me.
That's it. Yeah. And so that's the freedom and ease. Every time you think about this thing called money, if you can generate that feeling within you, that's attractive to money. What most people are doing is they're like, come here, go away. Come here, go away. They're giving off a split energy. They're giving off mixed messages to this green energy. And it's kind of like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to stay here, and you're going to continue to create no money. It's energy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. So I want to talk about manifestation because I think it's a very current subject. How do you, and I want to begin with, do you feel that people understand or recognize that whatever it is, whatever their life is right now, that they manifesting it 100%? This is how powerful everybody is. It's not like, because we're talking about the possibility of that you can have everything you ever wanted. And sometimes that scares people. But when I talk to people about, so guess what? What happened to you today, you manifested it. Everybody in it and everything that happened, you created it. They just go, what are you talking about? Are you crazy?
Right. Well, it's such a different paradigm shift from what we were raised with. And so there's more and more people, thank goodness, having the conversation about manifestation. But what I typically find out when you have this conversation is that people are willing to say, ooh, I created that parking spot. I created that success. Something unwanted happens, which I happen to call contrast, what we don't want. Something bad happens, you get in a car accident, something happens, something bad, what we don't want, right? Oh, well, how could I have created that? I can't take responsibility for that. That's because of so-and-so. So we go into the blame game. Well, no, that's just because the economy is really bad. Well, when you're blaming the economy, there's nothing that we can do. We've completely cut ourselves off from our personal power. But when you can take responsibility, respond to the ability that you have to manifest and the creator that you actually are, we all come from the creator. We all have that creativity within us. And we all have the ability, everything, it's a vibrational universe that we live in. And so when we can get the good, the bad, and the ugly is a manifestation, we can even just bring it down to a simplicity. The feeling that you're having right now in your physical body is a manifestation. The thought that you're thinking is a manifestation. A manifestation is not the car in the driveway. That's a manifestation, but it's not only that. It's not, ooh, the ideal partner, or the newborn baby. Yes, those are manifestations, but it's having someone really nice and you're in Starbucks, they decide to pay for your coffee and do something nice. And the teller says, or the lady says, oh, your coffee's already paid for. That's a manifestation. Having the person that's taking your money be really rude and just obnoxious to you, that's a manifestation. Everything in the universe is a manifestation, and we're manifesting it. And the way to understand how to navigate through that is that we live in a huge universe with variety and contrast. And what happens is something happens unwanted, an experience we have, we don't want it, it's contrast. Most people stay stuck, oh, that girl was so rude to me, and then we stay stuck on that. I like to use the example of the universe is like a buffet with every kind of possible, wonderful, yummy, delicious foods on this buffet. And it also has the foods that you don't like. So for my husband, he hates Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. But it'd be like him going to the buffet and seeing all this salmon and all this sushi and all these pasta dishes and all this stuff, and then him seeing the Brussels sprouts, and it's like, I can't eat anything because the Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are there, so now I can't eat any of this other stuff. I'm focused, it's like now the Brussels sprouts have completely ruined my buffet. The Brussels sprouts have completely ruined my dinner. Oh, look at the Brussels sprouts.
And we take it a step further. We'll judge people that like Brussels sprouts.
Exactly. How could you like Brussels sprouts?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Let me tell you all the 10,000 ways in which you should not like Brussels sprouts. It's like just for you in your life, you don't choose Brussels sprouts. For me, it's curry. I'm not a curry fan. So if I'm at the buffet and I see some curry, it's like, okay, I don't want that. I'm going to go over here. Contrast can be such an informative thing for us to help us clarify what we want and what we don't want.
Isn't it true that that is exactly where the juice is, the juice of life?
Yes.
It's in the middle of those two things, and that's where new things are born out of.
Yes.
Things that we have never heard, never done, never manifested, never thought about, never created. It's between those cracks.
Yes.
I use that analogy. It's in between the cracks.
It's true, and it's from those contrasting experiences that new growth and creativity and awareness and clarity comes through. Clarity is huge. I mean, the reason I wrote my last book, The Art of Having It All, is I was at a publicity summit and I went to go talk to this woman that was a writer for New York Magazine. And I walked up to her and I said, what do all New York women want? And she said, what? And I said, they want it all. And she goes, women can't have it all. And I said, excuse me? Because like I live in my own universe where it's like people have, you know, can create what they want, they can manifest. I said, excuse me? And she goes, oh yeah, there's best-selling books written right now by women that are saying that women can't have it all. We're spreading ourselves too thin. We're too exhausted. We're, you know, we got to be real and honest because, you know, it's just this whole dreamy thing has got to go. And I'm like, what? And she goes, do you know anybody that has it all? And I said, yeah, I know lots of people that have it all. And I said, I'm myself included. So I started listing all the ways that I feel that I have it all. And she handed me my sheet back and she goes, I won't be needing this because I don't believe that we can have it all. And I said, and therein lies the problem. And so that contrasting experience of it did not feel good to me. It completely birthed a book. And that's what we can do as creators. We could take that contrast and that feeling that left me like, what? There's people out there telling other people they can't have it all? Like, that's crazy. That's nonsense to me. Because I'm all about abundance and I'm all about we can manifest what we want. Steve, what you're having it all is not the same as mine.
As yours, yeah. We have 7 billion different having it all.
Exactly.
It's like I say, yes, we have one Earth and we have 7 billion people on it, but a lot of people have it that the 7 billion people are just sharing this one experience. And I say, no, there's one Earth, 7 billion people, and 7 billion versions of what this experience is. And it's all different.
It is. We don't all want the same thing. That's, again, back to the Brussels sprouts, back to the curry. We don't want not all of us want curry. Not all of us want Brussels sprouts.
And that makes it very, very interesting, don't you think?
It does. If you and I, it'd be like, you know, Stepford Wives, right? If like we were all exactly the same way, wanted exactly the same things, looked the same way, what's the excitement and the juice in that? The contrast, if we can get that concept and understand that contrast is not something like, oh God, you know, and it's a big problem, if we can understand the contrast, it's just a way for us to clarify what we do want. I mean, think about it. You've been in love before. You've been in relationships. I bet there are contrasting qualities that you had in those relationships with those women that you realize that, ooh, I don't want to do that again. I don't want a woman that has that quality.
Absolutely.
That contrasting experience.
So I decided to not have any for like 10 years now.
You see what I'm saying? It's like that contrasting experience gives birth to the clarity. Like, you know, if I'm in a relationship with a guy that's a cheater, well, guess what? I've just gotten really clear that I want someone that's loyal and committed to me instead of someone that's going to go behind my back and cheat. I mean, if we don't get caught up and get so, you know, with all the contrasting experiences that happen to us, but we move past it. And
more importantly, we don't get stuck there, right?
Exactly.
Don't get stuck in. Yeah. Create something new from the, and I call it, you know, I'm not the only one that calls it that, but it's this duality, the way we're designed. We're designed in this duality, and really and I said it before, the juice of life is in between. Yeah. So it's like I experienced a lot of people also on the network where all they wanted to do is just be positive, and I'm going like, okay, so that just feels kind of fake to me, because you can't be authentic without recognizing that I can't be always positive, and there is stuff happens all day long. I go in and out of being conscious. I manage myself. I got this going on, that going on, and I'm no different than anybody else other than, and I know there are many people like me that are intentional, but really that's what my work is right now, is to be really intentional and be open and receptive to receive everything that I have wanted. I don't want to die and then have it all. I want to have it all now.
We came here to do that. And what you're saying too is that to just think positive all the time sounds like a great idea, right? But
it sounds fantastic, but it's not. That's not how it works.
Well, it's not realistic. We're human beings, and we're given a whole range of emotions. So someone does something, I don't get what I want. Someone, does something to hurt me or pushes a boundary or, crosses a boundary. I have this emotion called anger within me. And that feeling, that whoosh of anger is informing me that, whoa, that doesn't feel good to me, right? Instead of going, oh, but it's just so great. And so, it's like, you can think positive all day long, but whatever emotions you're giving off, if there's anger or seething in there, and I'm just going to think positive, he cheated on me, but oh well, it's all going to be working out great.
Because you said it before on the show. You said it before. It's not what we say. It's about our vibration, and even if we ignore the feeling, our level of vibration changes. It gets to be low, and other people, sensitive people like me and you, we can feel it. I can feel it. They can bullshit me all day long. It doesn't matter. I can feel it.
Yeah. So could the universe. And that's the universe is always responding to our vibes. So we think that we're kidding ourselves by thinking positive. Now, here's the thing. When you work with your energy and you get back in alignment and you're in that space of abundance, you naturally, as a byproduct, think positive because you feel good. But if you're trying to, I love it, Abraham Hicks says this. It's like you're driving in your car and all of a sudden you notice your gas gauge goes all the way to empty. Instead of pulling over and getting gas and tending to what's happening, you just go, I'm going to put a happy face sticker on the gas gauge and I'm going to keep driving. It's crazy.
That's not happening.
Still going to run out of gas.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit more about this deliberate creation, because I think it's a very important subject. So, how can people be more focused in on who they really are? Matter of fact, even before that, how can we all fall in love with ourselves again? Because I'm feeling I used to be one of those people that I wasn't in love with myself. Matter of fact, I was punishing myself. How can that be done so that people can feel free and they can feel that really anything is possible? Just like the feelings that I was describing earlier, when we have an experience, everybody knows, everybody's been in love at least once, right? So everybody knows what that feeling is. Nothing matters. It's like the world can fall apart. You're still smiling and you're still having a fantastic time with yourself and with whoever you're putting your
attention on
or energy on. Doesn't matter. And I've been saying this for so long. Oh my God, that when we fall in love, we're not falling in love with another person. That's impossible. That's impossible. We cannot get into somebody else's head, somebody else's heart, somebody else's feeling. It's impossible. We can only get into our own.
Right.
So this is crazy, but I've been saying this for so long because I've been a personal development junkie for like 30 plus years. And at one point I recognized that, wait a minute, she can't make me feel like anything. I'm making me feel like whatever I'm feeling.
Exactly.
So if I have that kind of a intention and that kind of a power, I can generate it anytime I want. I don't even need another person in front of me.
Exactly. You can generate that feeling of abundance. You can generate that feeling of financial freedom. You can generate that feeling of success. You can generate that feeling of joy, love, compassion, fulfillment. I mean, all of those feelings are accessible to us because they're all generated from within. We assign it outside of ourselves. So, he's the one that made me feel that way, or she's the one that made me feel. Nobody can make us feel. We choose. We choose and explore our feelings. So the biggest key for me, and that I see with people, is that in order to really have that level of self-love, is we have to, number one, accept ourselves the way we are. In order for me to truly love myself, I mean, I came from a mother who was, short, stocky like me, and she admired and loved and thought, oh my God, tall blondes with big boobs and thin legs, that is the ideal. And I remember thinking as a kid, I'm screwed because I got none of that. I'm not blonde, I'm not tall, I've got muscular legs, the whole thing. I'm like, wow, I'm the exact opposite of that model that she's portraying as the beautiful woman. And so for years, You know, I would always look at blondes like that and go, oh God, they're so beautiful, you know? And it wasn't until I accepted that this is who I am. This is the form I came in. And I'm muscular and, you know, I'm small, I'm petite, I'm brunette, you know, and it's like, and I'm sensual, I'm sexy, I'm, you know, this is me. This is the little short thing that I am. This is me. Until I came to accept that within myself, then I had men that reflected it. Wow, you're so shy. I love your body. You know, it's all inside out instead of outside in. And we have to accept whatever it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When we can get into a place of acceptance, doesn't necessarily mean approval, but a place of acceptance that this is who I am. This is the form that I'm in. You know what? Sometimes I lose my temper, and I accept that about myself. It's in that acceptance that we can change those behaviors, not in judgment, not in beating ourselves up, not in, you know, shoulding on ourselves that we should be different. We should look different, sound different, be different,
and we
you know,
can,
whatever.
and we can apologize to others, and we can recognize and tell the truth about what was just happening, right?
Yes. Yeah. But
right?
we have
like
to accept them.
I used to, when I didn't know these things, I didn't practice these things, people used to, you know, press my button and I turn around and press theirs, and you know where that's going. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah. It goes in the toilet. And I know better now. I really do. And I used to, because since you brought up your mother, I'm going to bring mine up. She was a very strong woman. She didn't take, you know what, from anybody, and she was very controlling, and, you know, so I became very rebellious. You know, she told me to be home at 11. I came home at 1. She beat me up. Next day, same thing. And I continued doing that, being rebellious, because I didn't want to conform. And so that got me out of a communist country. That's what I learned. And it was actually very useful to me. Being a rebellious kid is what got me to, you know, have the, I don't want to use that word, but to have the power that I could actually do this and get the hell out. Because most people back in Hungary were just talking about this. Nobody has ever done it. Very small percentage of people have escaped from a communist country and actually succeeded. But everybody talked about it. You know, it's just like here. Everybody's talking about success, but most people, you know, are not living their passion, and they're not living in the abundance that you're talking about. They're not living in joy. They're settling for something much, much less. Why? We didn't come here for this mediocre thing. And you said it. We came here, I believe, and this keeps coming up. We came here to love and to be loved, and to have everything we want. I came here for incredible experiences. And I'm now realizing that the more trouble I get myself into, and I have in the past, but this time it's intentional. So in the past, I got into all kinds of trouble. Not that that wasn't intentional, it was, but it was hurting me. Do you know what I mean? Now, the trouble that I want to get into is the stuff that's actually good for me. and because I love myself, and I wouldn't do something, and I wouldn't get into trouble that would hurt me, because that would not be an expression of love for myself, would it?
No. But, you know,
yeah, go ahead.
I truly believe that we come, you know, for all those reasons you said, and also the expansion. It's like, you know, who we get to become in this lifetime as a non-physical being. You know, we take a body, and then it's life experience, and what grows us out as a soul, what grows us as, you know, as a creator. And, you know, some people are, unfortunately, like we talked about earlier, it's like they're coming and they're just, you know, they're not expressing their emotions. They're numb to their emotions. That's why we have so many depressed people in this, you know, in this country, because their depression comes from suppression, and we're suppressing ourselves. We're suppressing our emotions. Our emotions are us speaking to us, informing us about us. And if we don't listen and we suppress it, or we, you know, like your situation, like if you had all this resentment and anger towards your mom, right? And then like you didn't heal from any of that. It's like that'd be your point of attraction. So many people, you know, they have hey, childhood issues and abuses, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, sexual, and it's up to us as adults to heal those wounds from our past. And if we don't, we stay stuck in it and we continue to attract the same things from those points of betrayal or hurt or resentment or all those things. So it's up to us to know that we have the power to heal. Everything's energy, and even emotions are energy. And if we can take the sting off of those emotions and that energy, I have the best relationship with my mom now. Whereas it was like, she and I are in a great, but it wasn't because of she's almost 80. She's gonna be 80 in April. It wasn't because she went through therapy. It wasn't because she found the energy of resentment and released it. I did all the inner work for myself, but our relationship has completely improved because as it affects one.
It only takes one to change the relationship, not two.
That's it.
And a lot of people say that, yeah, it takes two to tango, but that's inaccurate. That's really inaccurate for me. It takes one.
It busts the energy of the relationship. And as she's trying to push buttons, which she used to get a reaction from, as she's pushing the button, there's no button to push anymore. I don't react. It takes two people to play tennis. If I'm not returning the serve, it's not fun to play anymore. So right. We teach people how to treat us. But my mentor, Karen Wilson, has always said is the first rule of relationships is we teach other people how to treat us in our presence.
Well, it's our orchestra, isn't it?
Yep.
If you don't like the music,
change the channel.
Yeah. All right. So talk about, you have a new book out that's fairly recent?
I do.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's called The Art of Having It All. And that's my latest book. It came out last February. And it's just really about helping people get to the place of, number one, allowing themselves to say, what do I want? What do I want in this area of my life, in that area of my life? Because the problem with most people is that they have no idea what they want. Because most of us haven't given ourselves permission to say, okay, well, I know what you want and you want. Let me caretake to you, and maybe make sure everybody else is happy. But what about me? What do I want? What do I want from my life? My mentor always says that the word joy as an acronym is just own yourself. Joy. And when you can ask yourself, what do I want? How am I feeling? What do I prefer? Gosh, that's contrast. What do I want instead? What's the clarity? What am I really looking for here? What can I get out of this situation? Getting into yourself. From that place, then you can then create your life. Because when you're aware of your emotions, how you're feeling, what you prefer, what you don't prefer, what you like, what you don't like, all those situations, then you get to decide. You become that deliberate creator. You can choose to bring in the feeling of abundance instead of being in the natural lack. You can choose to be in that empowerment and feeling of success instead of feeling like a failure. You can choose to forgive and staying stuck in, resentment and betrayal. We get to choose these things. And every time we choose a different energy, we're shifting our point of attraction. And then we attract something different into our lives. And so the book takes everybody through a step-by-step process, because one of the things we touched on is the feeling within us creates the reality outside of us. And I'm living proof about that. I remember years ago, I was like, what's the most important feeling for me to feel? And it was like, I want to feel free, because I did not feel free in any aspect of my life. No aspect of my life. I had a controlling relationship. I didn't have enough money. I felt like I was overweight. It was like on and on it goes. I did not.
That was mine as well, by the way. It's how I got out, is because the communists kept me under their thumb, and my mother kept me under her thumb. And I just said, this just doesn't feel good. I don't want any of this. This is not who I am. I was born into the wrong place. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. So what I did, though, is I constantly cultivated that feeling of freedom. I almost had the vision of a bird flying and would just feel like what it would feel like to fly. And it's amazing, because then things started to pop and manifest. And now I look at my life in all aspects And because I've been practicing that vibration, it's like I have freedom reflected in all aspects, whether it's money, my career, my relationship with my husband, even my relationship with my kids, my body, all aspects of my life reflect freedom. And if I ever feel like, oh my God, I'm trapped here, or I feel stuck here, it's like I'm the one that needs to bring in that feeling of freedom and then expand into that place. So in the art of having it all, I teach people, like, what's your essence? Like, is it passion that you want to feel? Is it purpose that you want to feel? Is it freedom or success or connection or security? Like, what is that? And then how to then cultivate that? And, you know, get clear on what you do want in all aspects. What is having it all for you? You know, if you have a blank canvas, what do you want to put on it? Because this is your life. You only have this time in this physical body. You know, even if you come and reincarnate and all that kind of stuff, this.
Okie dokie. So you froze for me for a second there. I hope it unfreezes. Something happened to your internet connection. Well, this happens once in a great while. And when it does, this is what it feels like to be disconnected from ourselves. She's not here. She knows what she's doing, so I'm sure she will come back. So she's doing it right now. So what I wanted to do is I know that our guest, Christy Whitman.
Yes, I got you.
I was just saying on the network that this is what it feels like when you get disconnected from yourself.
Very true. Very true.
And I wanted to take this opportunity because I know that you also have a program for how to work with kids. For moms. And I had this experience that I wanted to share on the network and with you, since you have a lot of expertise in this area, that something that I witnessed with my grandkids last Sunday. A lot of times on Sunday afternoons, I babysit for my daughter because she's a nurse, and her husband works on Sundays, and they have like 2-3 hours in the afternoon that they need me to watch them, and I'm happy to do it because I love my grandkids. So this is what I want to say. I want to describe something real quickly, an interaction that occurred that I know occurs in every family every day, 100 million times in this country and worldwide. And here is what happened. My daughter was telling my granddaughter to go get your homework because you haven't done it through the weekend, and now it's Sunday evening, and your homework is due tomorrow. She's 5. And she said, what she said to her is, no, I don't want to do it. And then my daughter start getting worked up, right? You know the story. And she starts getting upset. She starts yelling at her and say, go get your homework now. And she says, no, I don't want to do it. And then it escalates, and she says, 1. And when she does this, she's supposed to be trained when she starts counting down. The next thing that comes is either you go to the corner or you get your butt beat. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and I'm just witnessing this, and I'm going like, oh, well, this is what my mother used to do. Not only my mother used to do this, I taught my kids to do this. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. And then she says, 1. And then my granddaughter is not moving. And so my daughter gets up and takes her and puts her in the corner. And my granddaughter starts crying. Okay. Long story short, 5 minutes goes by. She's screaming, yelling in the corner. And she wants to come out of the corner. And she said, my daughter says, okay, you can come out of the corner if you go get your homework. We'll sit down together and do it. So, okay, great. So my granddaughter gets her homework. They sit down together, but my granddaughter doesn't want to do the homework. I just saw myself in her. You know, she's rebelling. I don't want to do it. and so my daughter starts doing it for her. So she's sitting there doing the homework for her. So my granddaughter is winning. Okay, she's winning, and she's doing the homework. And then when my daughter is done, she says this: "I'm writing a note to your teacher right now that I can't get you to do your homework, and that I need some help from your teacher what to do because I don't know what to do." And my granddaughter starts screaming and yelling and crying. She doesn't want the note to go to the teacher. But my daughter writes it anyway. And that's the end of the story, basically. So I wanted to say something to her. And I've noticed within myself that I better not open my mouth unless I feel that I'm completely connected to my source, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was dialing it up, dialing it in. And okay, I felt in a few minutes, I was connected. So this is what I said to my granddaughter. So, not to my daughter. So I said, Mary, I just witnessed this whole thing happening, and I love you very much. And I just witnessed 2 generations of this. My mother did it. I did it to you. But what I want to say to you is, I did it to you because this is what I taught you, but I didn't know anything different at the time. If I would have known something different, I would have done something different, but I didn't know anything different. Today, I know something different. And would you like to hear it? Guess what happened? She looked at me and just silence, total silence. Not just her, but my granddaughter is sitting there watching the both of us. And I said, the only thing I can say to you right now is that your granddaughter and you, both of you, are extremely beautiful and and you have the potential to create anything you want to create. And what I wish for you is that your relationship transforms. Somehow you transform it. I can't do it for you. You know, I wish I could, but I can't. But I just make a request of you, Mary, that's my daughter, that just relate to your daughter the same way you related to her when she was born. Because that's who she really is. Mm. And just love her and know that if you're going to say something when you're not in that loving space, if you're going to say something, you already know that it's not going to turn out. She's going to push your button, you're going to push her button, and this is what's just going to occur over and over. So if you're open and you're willing and you're receptive, and I don't know if you are or not, I just wanted to share this with you. So if you want to try something different, try that.
That's beautiful.
And I ended it right there. And you know what happened? They both were sobbing. They were both crying.
It's beautiful. Really beautiful.
It's not like, you know, it's not like I said something she didn't know. They both knew this already, you know?
Right.
They didn't hear anything they didn't know.
You busted the energy of the power struggle is what you did. Mm. You return them back to their hearts.
So how often does this happen really? Every day?
It happens all the time with parents because they go resourceless. You said it best. I didn't know another way. You were modeled to do it one way. And so now you have a child and it's like, well, that's the only way I knew. I don't have any other options. So you continue to do what you do.
I'm going to make them do what I want them to do. Whatever it takes. I'm going to beat them. I'm going to put them in the corner, do whatever I have to do to make them do it. And they don't do it. You can't make them do it.
Yeah, as a parent, you go resourceless. Yeah. I find that I like to parent in the way, and I'm not the perfect parent, believe me, I've lost my temper, and, you know, I've lost my patience and all that kind of stuff. But where I've gotten in the last several years with my husband too, is that if I say something and I say, could you please stop doing that? Or, you know, could you make sure you do this or whatever, and they're not responding, there's a consequence or there's a reward, because we want to teach our kids how the universe actually works. Because if a kid is in a store and they're like, Mommy, I want something, and then the mom is giving it to them just to shut them up, they're learning that to get negative attention, if they do something negative, they act out, they're going to get what they want. The universe doesn't work that way. The universe, gives us what we want. We're in a joyful, connected place. That's when we get the rewards of the universe. And so we have to teach our kids that everything is a consequence. So if you're not doing your homework, this is a consequence for you. If you're not going to do your homework, here's the consequence. Here's the reward, and then here's the consequence. Because that's how the universe is set up. It's a cause and effect. And if we can understand universal laws and parent from the universal laws, like if someone's in a crappy mood, or they're in, you don't give me enough. It's like, you are in lack. Lack always feels bad. But if you're satisfied, if you feel good with what you have, if you're looking at all the toys, all the Lego sets you don't have, you're going to feel really bad. But if you turn your head and look at all the Lego sets you do have, and you're satisfied with what you have, you're now feeling good. It's all perspective. And that's how we parent our kids, is teaching them, between lack and abundance. And what are the consequences if you do, hey, your choice, here's what the consequences are going to be. You don't want to do your homework, you're not going to watch TV. You don't want to do your homework, you're not going to go skating tomorrow. You don't want to do your homework, you're not going to play with your kids on your bike. That's the consequence. You do your homework, then you can go outside and play with your friends. It's positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, but it's a cause and effect that helps them understand that they're in the power seat to make the choice. It's not do this, because then it's like,
that it's their choice. Nobody's trying to make them do anything. There's an offer on the table, and they can say yes or no to it.
Right. And I learned this from, her name is Amy McCready, I believe. And she taught me a process where it's called when then. When you do your homework, then you can watch TV. There's no power struggle with that. When you clean your room, then you can go play outside with your friends. When you do your homework, then you can go to karate. It's pretty clear. When you've done this, then you can do this. It's a consequence kind of thing. Well, you can't go to karate. You didn't do your homework. That was your choice, not on me.
So you just offered up some other possibilities in addition to the one I happen to do. So there's many, many possibilities, right?
Yes.
many solutions. So we just don't want people to feel stuck or lost, because there's plenty ways to relate to our kids. And I love my kids and I love my grandkids, and I really have learned now that, I'm not going to speak unless I'm connected to who they are, and I'm connected to who I am. Because if I do speak, I'm going to be sorry.
That's a good rule of thumb for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alignment is key for everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, well, Christy Whitman, you were absolutely fantastic, but I never doubted that for a second. So, extremely knowledgeable. You're extremely knowledgeable about the subject of consciousness and evolution and what humanity is going through right now. And I congratulate you for doing the work. You're really doing the work on a large scale, because you are basically coaching coaches to do this work and take it out to the world, to this country, and to many countries. So that's absolutely fantastic, because we know we need lots of soldiers out there doing this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Lots of people on the planet.
So thank you very much for being on the network. I enjoyed it. For everybody else out there, if you heard something here or seen something here that touched, moved, and inspired you, continue to watch this show on our YouTube channel, and also any of the other shows. We have thousands of them up on our channel. The more you watch this show or any other show, the more the possibility every month to be on the top 10 list. If you make it there, we can take that show to public television as well as cable television. So thank you so much. Have a great evening and a wonderful weekend coming up. Thank you so much, Christy.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, bye.